Well, hello, Hope Church. Great to be able to share with you a short devotional today. My name is Martin Coleman and I'm the pastor of the Bridge Church in Chepstow and also the South East Zone leader for Assemblies of God. And I'm sure I've met some of you lovely people before, but whether I know you or whether you know me or not, I pray that you will continue to be strengthened and encouraged as we move into another year and as we seek to become the people that God has called us to be. So we're in Proverbs 16, and actually the last verse of Proverbs 16, verse 33, is one of the most striking and fascinating verses in the book of Proverbs, perhaps in the whole Bible in many ways, in relation to what it reveals about God's involvement in our lives and this world. Verse 33, the lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Wow. The New Living Translation says, we may throw the dice, but the Lord determines how they fall. And what this verse certainly tells me is that there's no such thing as luck, and there's no such thing as chance or coincidence in the purposes of God. And of course, I know that this verse probably throws up the age-old question regarding the relationship between God's sovereignty and our human responsibility, and how free our actual choices are, and how much control God has over our lives and futures. And I don't want to try and tackle that mystery in a 5-minute devotional. In fact, of course, that would be impossible. However, I do want to focus on the reassurance that a verse like this should bring to the heart of every Christian. The Bible reveals that God is sovereign over our lives and this world, and that He is faithful to fulfill His good purposes for us and His purposes through us, even in the midst of the difficult and challenging circumstances that may surround us. In fact, the Bible reveals that even the enemy is a tool in the hand of a sovereign and righteous God. What He intends for evil, God uses for good. So think about the current pandemic. Where's your hope in the midst of all this going on? Are we just hoping that we get lucky and avoid it? Do we just close our eyes, sit tight and wait for it to be over? Do we throw our hands in the air and say, where's God in all the chaos? Or do we actually recognize that in all this going on, God is at work? God still holds our lives and this world in His hands, and God is working to a bigger picture and a bigger plan than our limited wisdom and perspective can comprehend. Think about it. If God is somehow sovereign over the throw of a dice, which this verse reveals, then I can certainly take comfort from the fact that He is sovereign over my life, and so can you. He knows how to protect me, to lead me, to equip me, to connect me, to guide me, and to grow me. And so because of that, I can confidently approach my future knowing that God is at work in my life to position me for my good and His glory. And even if He uses methods that I wouldn't have chosen, and even if I'm largely unaware of all that He might be doing behind the scenes, I can hold on to that truth. In fact, verse 3 in Proverbs 16 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. And verse 9 says, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You see, God is at work in and through all of it. And you may have had a different idea of what 2020 would bring at the beginning of last year, and you may have hopes and plans for 2021. But the most important thing is for you to commit your life and your ways and your future to God, and then trust that He will direct you and use you and fulfill His good plans in you and through you, because that is what God does. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 11 says, in Him we were also chosen, having been predestined according to the plan of Him who works out everything in conformity with the purpose of His will. And so yes, this pandemic is devastating in so many ways, and it serves as another reminder of the broken world we live in. But that broken world is still held by God, and even the brokenness is still used by God to lead people to Him and to reveal where true hope and true life are to be found. And so with that knowledge, we should be a people who don't look out on our world and just focus on all the problems and all the restrictions and all the hardships, but we should be a people who look out, or rather look up with confidence in a God who sits enthroned over all the kingdoms of the earth and is very much present and at work in our world. We don't just see the problems, we see the opportunities. We see the potential actually that the darkness creates for the light of Christ to be encountered and shine even brighter as God positions us for impact. So do what God has positioned you to do and leave the outcomes to him. He's been at work to prepare you for this time. And he is present to work through you at this time. And he will continue to work way beyond you in the times and days ahead. And so keep going, keep trusting, keep serving, keep praying, keep shining. God is on the throne of this world and of your life. And he will continue to act according to his good purpose as he works out his purposes for you and through you. Bless you guys. Keep going, keep trusting. Amen.